In our morning show, ladies and gentlemen. Like we said this morning, we're going to be exploring folk music. And we have with us Mr. George Carter. George Carter, let me just start with a tune one time. Just take it away from me.
Lunia Premidi, Macule Tombe Malade, Oye chercher la Baye extrême la lèvre sécula, séculuru, c'est a room, monsieur lave, pas moi, ça monsal, monsieur lave, pas moi, ça monsal.
What language is that?
That is a patois song, because you know, French in Trinidad, and it says, Lundi après midi, one day Makule gets sick. Tombe, to get sick to. Voye chercher la priest, they sent to call the priest to give her extreme unction. And when the priest saying, you know, we had Latin in the church, secular room, she jumped up from her bed and say, well, room is the patois word for rum. So she thought somebody asked her if she wanted to drink a rum. She jumped up from her bed and she said, yes, Mr. Priest, give me a drink without water.
Oh my word, that's also funny.
Yes, that's one of our patois songs.
So, Mr. Carter, let me get into what makes this folk song. What are the characteristics that define how we view a song as a folk song?
Well, one of the things is that most time they are handed down. Like this one, we don't know who composed this one. All we know is, right? You have others like Mibui, that deals with a folk tradition of selling corn. Mibui. People like Olive Walk, and they were responsible. Well, Olive Walk, let me not say Olive Walk. Mangoes, Olive Walk was involved in the construction of that song. Like in the case of Mangoes, it's based on something we used to see around the society where people will go around on the tray with the tray selling mangoes.
And they have a folk song about that?
Yes, mangoes.
You played that one last week. Mango ve, mango tea.
Oh, that one.
Right. So that was something when I was growing up in Barataria here. We had the people, with a lady coming around, and you used to get your penny to get your little mangoes.
I want a penny to buy mango. Yeah, boy.
Do you know my mango song?
You have a mango song?
Well, the
you
one
mean the
that
Jamaican one?
Yeah, Rockers and Carrie didn't know it.
Sing it again.
Me no drink coffee, tea, mango time. Care how nice it may be, mango time. In the height of the mango crop, when the fruits them are ripe and drop, wash your pot, turn them down, mango time.
I saw the music for it because I'm a Jamaican.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a Jamaican, but I never really explored playing it. But I saw it in the name of the book is a Mango Spice or something, a Jamaican folk book.
Okay.
Wait, is there a Trinbagonian folk book?
Yeah, we have several. We have Olive Walk book. We have some publications on Ministry of Education. We have Edric Connor, one of the oldest. Edric Connor did a book some years, but I probably wasn't born. And you have numerous smaller ones, Tobago might have, and they still have plenty to do.
But you know what, Mr. Carter, it's amazing that we have the wealth of, capturing and keeping folk songs, but we don't hear them here. What do you think is the disconnection?
One of the problems is that, all right, I was a tutor with the Best Village program. I'm a retired teacher, and I was fortunate to get to do music in a primary school. So my children, because I like folk music, I did it. And you also could use music to reinforce your lessons. For example, if you're doing a lesson in Trinidad with places in Trinidad, there's a song you could do. You all will be glad to know the places in Trinidad, sweet Trinidad. You all will be glad to know the places in Trinidad, where fruits and provision, where fruits and provision can be found growing here in the island, up in Beach, Dania and dashing, cassava breadfruit, da la de la la da. La bread Santa Cruz and Avanti, sweet mango in quantity. La bread Santa Cruz and Avanti, sweet mango. So there's a song that encompasses the names of things we grow in Trinidad and also places. So that if you teach a lesson on places in Trinidad, you could use a song like that to reinforce your lesson. It's called the infusion of the arts into teaching. So
but Mr. Carter, would there be a challenge like you can play the guitar, so you have a added benefit? But what about the teachers who may not be so musically inclined but still want to be able to do that? Do we have recordings of this?
Well, there's a problem. I made suggestion to curriculum people already that they need to sit and get material organized and have the CD. Well, as they say, the background music, because it's a very sad thing that our people don't know, our children, our people don't know the folk song. They don't even know Christmas carols. Right? It'll be a very, very, surprise.
And you know what? I remember even as a child that we used to skip 1, 2, 3 Anti-Lulu, 4, 5, 6 Independence, 7, 8, 9 Celebration, 6th of August. 6th of August, 1962, and we'd skip to that rhythm, so that we could remember when is our independence, that kind of thing.
And what we don't realize, when you do that, you're teaching rudiments of music. You are teaching rhythm, you're teaching scale, you are teaching music indirectly. You're teaching pitch, low pitch, high pitch, fast song, slow song, right? You are doing the rudiments. You're talking about in a primary school. You are doing the rudiments of music.
Yeah.
Mr. Carter, has the folk music ever been a part of the curriculum? As in, you have to do this?
You have a music curriculum. You have a visual and performing arts program in the primary school, and obviously it fits it there. But again, as you just said, the problem is that we need to get material out. For example, I mentioned just now some books that the ministry had done. That is since in the 80s or 90s, when June Joseph, a lady called June Joseph, was the curriculum officer. They did some books. And
so are you saying that with the music curriculum is that the teachers choose what to play in the music with that?
Music, like in my old school was Curé Fatima, she's school in Curé. And I got to do music because music is a specialist subject. Just like physical education and agri-science, those are specialist subjects. The average teacher who don't understand certain things. For example, if you get a group of children to teach, and they're not holding pitch, you have to know what exercises you could do.
Yeah.
To get them to hold, to keep in key then, pitch.
I want to go back to the topic of the characteristics of folk music, though, because we just touched on it briefly, but you spoke before, Mr. Carter, about it. Sometimes they would cover an event of the day or the topical issue at the point in time. But what are the other factors that make a song a folk song?
Well, as we started off with that question, it is handed down. It tells you about the society. For example, you have many Patwa songs. And the question I asked, but how Patwa songs? What we have to remember, in 1783, the French people came here, a lot of French people came here to live. And they are the ones who really developed. They brought things like carnival and all these things, because part of the background of carnival is French people. You have the parang with the Spanish people coming from Venezuela. You have a few African songs. You have a lot of Indian songs from the Indian people, the indentureship. Okay.
So is there any correlation or connection with, indentureship and slavery? These folk songs.
Well, you do get material that go back, because remember, one of the things I always tell people, when these people is to be working, they is to be singing. For example, in the Baptist church, I set these songs, like for example, Amen, Amen. All those things go back to the roots of the history of the country, not only Trinidad, right? Tobago and all over the world. So that when you begin to understand folk music, you begin to understand the structure of how the society was. You don't have no radio, you don't have no TV. So what do you do in the evening? You sing, you dance, and it going from generation, from your grandmother, great grandmother, and coming down. One area that sort of preserved it was the Best Village program.
Right.
In schools could take part in music festival where you have folk, you have parang, you have Sunfest, you have your own concert in school, you have district concert with schools. So that has helped a lot. But still, I find that we could do some more. That's my.
Well, Mr. Carter, play something for us. Play something for us to go out, something nice and sweet and folky.
Oh, I will give you this. Well, this is not really from Trinidad, I think from Dominica, but I remember this one. Bamwe yotibu, de tibu, tua tibu du du. Bamwe yotibu, de tibu, tua tibu du du. Bamwe yotibu, de tibu, tua tibu. Bamwe tu saule, usula jeke mwe. I work so hard, 6 whole days a week. 3 days for me, 3 days for my to-do. On Saturday, because I ain't get no pay, the woman take up a knife, swearing to take my life.
Oh, damn.
Bamwe yotibu. Well, Bamwe yotibu means give me a kiss, give me 2 kisses. Right. So the man trying to mama guide the woman because he knocking about. There's another verse where he come and he going soft, and he going rotatatat. Achi back door no. Darling is me you want to do boy. And she answer, who the Francis that? Open the door, where you lock me out for. The rain wetting me so hard. And you playing you mad.
Now, you see, Mr. Carter, what's the difference between that and a kaiso? Like, what makes that a folk song and not a kaiso?
Yes.
Where kaiso came from, not folk music.
So it don't really have a difference, is what you're saying. As long as we can identify the author, then it makes it.
You always have to go to the root. For example,
right.
Trouble in a river.
Is trouble. Is trouble.
Kitchener said that there's a folk, that's like a folk song used to hear. And the same thing with old lady walk on my eye.
Yeah, that's a folk song too.
Yeah, those early set of calypsonian. Besides creating, because in folk music you create new songs.
Right.
Because you know, well, those will be more contemporary, right? You create songs because you know how to construct it. And as you say me with calypso, you say me with parang, we have modern day parang, but it is based on a certain kind of program of 4 lines. And I was telling somebody, I don't know who was chatting, later in the year, you all should do something like this on parang.
Oh, for sure. Because it's interesting because, you know, everybody wants to try and reinvent the wheel now instead of just building on those foundations. Like you say, if Kitchener could take a folk song and make it into a song, is that people would say that, you know, is that him stealing a folk song, or is it him building on a folk song?
Well, the whole thing is that you have it. All right. When I was small, we had bara. Bara is what you call the doubles. So there was one bara you used to get, one piece of the bun. And it became, I remember when it became doubles, I was small. Because so everything has
evolution.
Yes.
Right.
And
one of the things you do in ethnomusicology is that you have individual creation and communal recreation. That's very the pan. I individually came up with the idea, and then other people saw it and they add to it.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have to go, Mr. Carter. But before we go, do you think that folk songs, you know, are dying out in the sense that even though there are people not singing them and paying homage to them as we are doing today?
Well, we have to be careful. I remember a judge in West Village, one of the chief judges, telling me, Mr. Carter, our people do not know their folk song. What it is going on? Well, I will ask what it is going on too. We have to be careful that these things, because I always say culture is preserved through people, not in a museum, not in a book. It is preserved through people.
Yeah.
And whether it be dancing, whether it be calypso dancing, we have to have programs in Trinidad. Not that they don't have, but, well, they're very disjointed.
Not effective at passing on the information.
Yeah, and our teachers, when they go to training college, when I went training college, I went to a college called Mausika Teachers Training College. And a lady called Daphne Coffey was there. When you pass through Daphne Coffey's handwritten with folk music, and then she used to show you how we could take the folk music and change words when you want to teach a lesson.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the power of the music as well. Mr. Carter, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing some of your knowledge. You want to play a little thing for me to go out with? Or?
All
right, we take a... No, I want an English one. You only sing us at a French channel kind of back and I'm here for you this morning. Give my English one as we go. Mr. Carter, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We take a break and come back. There we go, Mr. Carter, to the break.
Oui, mi oui, mi oui. Get your night ball for soft and sweet, soft and sweet. Every evening at 6 o'clock, Madeleine passing by. The children tell the time on the clock when Madeleine passing by. Boil corn, roast corn, come and da to hear a plaintive cry. Mi boui, mi boui. Mi boui means corn in French.
You see about I could do French again.